It's easy to forget how much of our world runs on invisible systems until those systems fail. In just seconds, chaos can erupt. Hospitals shut down, financial empires crumble, and technology we rely on turns against us. But behind these disasters isn't fate or coincidence. It's someone, somewhere, pulling the strings. When hundreds of private celebrity photos, including those of Jennifer Lawrence, Rihanna, and Kate Upton, were leaked online, the world was shocked. Intimate images spread rapidly across forums, news sites, and social media. Let's rewind to 2014, when the tech world was obsessed with cloud storage. Apple's iCloud service was marketed as the safest way to store photos and files, making it easy to access your data from any device. People trusted it, but here's the thing about trust. It can be exploited. Hackers discovered a massive flaw in Apple's security protocols. The exploit was shockingly simple: a brute force attack on iCloud accounts. Normally, if you try to guess someone's password too many times, the system locks you out. But back in 2014, Apple's iCloud didn't have that lockout feature. Hackers could write scripts to guess passwords endlessly, and with enough tries, they were bound to get it right. And guess what? Many celebrities weren't exactly using secure passwords. Password 123, I love you, QWERTY. Once hackers got into these accounts, they hit the jackpot. Private photos, videos, and personal messages. They created an entire underground network dedicated to collecting and sharing these stolen files. The leak became known as the Fappening, a crude play on words that spread like wildfire on platforms like Reddit and 4chan. The fallout was brutal. Jennifer Lawrence, one of the most high-profile victims, called it a flagrant violation of privacy. She wasn't wrong. Hundreds of women were targeted. Actresses, models, athletes, many of them were devastated, while the internet turned it into a joke. But what about the hackers? Well, it took years to track them down. In 2016, the FBI finally arrested Ryan Collins, one of the main culprits behind the attack. He confessed to using phishing emails to trick celebrities into giving up their iCloud passwords. But here's the twist. While Collins got 18 months in prison, most of the stolen files were already out there, and nothing could ever really erase them. But what happens when a tech exploit isn't about fame? What if it's about total chaos? The next hack didn't just steal money or data. It paralyzed entire countries. Hospitals shut down. Governments panicked. And all it took was one careless click. Let's move to 2017, when a simple malware attack spiraled into a global crisis. On May 12, 2017, UK hospitals began shutting down due to the WannaCry ransomware attack. Doctors couldn't access patient files, surgeries were canceled, and ambulances were redirected as emergency rooms were crippled. The hackers behind WannaCry didn't target any single company or individual. Instead, they unleashed a self-replicating worm that spread like wildfire through the internet. The malware encrypted all the files on an infected computer and then demanded a ransom in Bitcoin to unlock them. The ransom note was simple. Your files have been encrypted. Pay $300 in Bitcoin within 3 days, or your files will be deleted. It exploited a Microsoft Windows vulnerability discovered and kept secret by the NSA for surveillance. When the shadow brokers leaked it, cyber criminals used it for attacks. Within hours, more than 230,000 computers across 150 countries got infected. It hit hospitals, banks, telecommunication companies, transportation networks, and government agencies. In the UK, the National Health Service, NHS, was crippled. In Spain, telecommunications giant Telefónica was taken down. Even FedEx and Renault weren't spared. But here's the twist. The ransom wasn't the real danger. The real issue was that critical infrastructure, like hospitals and public services, relied on outdated computer systems. And WannaCry exposed how vulnerable those systems were. Now, here's the unexpected hero of the story. A 22-year-old British cybersecurity researcher named Marcus Hutchins, sitting in his bedroom, managed to accidentally stop WannaCry. While analyzing the malware's code, Hutchins discovered that WannaCry was trying to contact an unregistered domain name. So, he bought the domain for $10.69 and unknowingly triggered a kill switch that stopped the attack from spreading further. Ironically, he was later arrested by the FBI for a separate hacking incident from his teenage years. He pleaded guilty but avoided prison time after helping law enforcement prevent future cyber attacks. As for the WannaCry attackers, The U.S. government identified them as a North Korean group called the Lazarus Group, the same hackers responsible for hitting Sony Pictures in 2014. It caused billions of dollars in losses. But what if I told you that your car can be hacked into while driving down the highway? Let's talk about the Jeep hack, a cyber attack that changed the entire automotive industry forever. In 2015, two cybersecurity researchers, Charlie Miller and Chris Valasek, made global headlines when they pulled off one of the most unsettling hacks in history. Their target? A Jeep Cherokee. They did it remotely, from a laptop sitting miles away. Here's how it went down. Miller and Valasek discovered a vulnerability in Jeep's Uconnect, a built-in entertainment and navigation system that connects cars to the internet. It was supposed to make driving more convenient, but instead it left the entire vehicle exposed to hackers. Using this vulnerability, they were able to gain full control of the car's systems. Full control. To prove their point, they conducted a live demonstration with a journalist from Wired magazine. As the journalist drove the Jeep down a busy highway, Miller and Valasek began hijacking the vehicle. They cranked the music to full volume, flipped on the wipers, and then they cut the engine. The car slowed to a crawl, leaving the driver stranded in traffic. The video of this demonstration went viral, and the automotive world freaked out. Think about it. Cars were no longer just machines. They were computers on wheels, and like any computer, they could be hacked. The implications were chilling. After the hack went public, Fiat Chrysler, the parent company of Jeep, was forced to issue a recall of 1.4 million vehicles to fix the vulnerability. It was one of the largest automotive recalls related to cybersecurity in history. But Miller and Valasek weren't malicious. They didn't want to cause harm. Their goal was to expose the dangers of leaving critical systems connected to the internet without proper security, and they succeeded. Hacking a car on a highway is terrifying enough, but what if hackers went after the heart of the global economy? Now it's time to head into the high-stakes world of finance, where one hack could have sent the entire global economy into a free fall. In 2010, NASDAQ, one of the world's largest stock exchanges, became the target of a sophisticated cyber attack. But this wasn't your average data breach. The hackers weren't interested in stealing money or personal information. They had bigger ambitions. Their goal was to collapse the financial system from the inside out. Here's how it started. NASDAQ noticed something strange in their servers. Anomalous activity that didn't seem to fit with any normal pattern. At first, they thought it was a minor technical glitch. But as they dug deeper, they discovered that hackers had infiltrated their system and planted a highly advanced piece of malware. A digital time bomb designed to disrupt NASDAQ's director platform, corrupt financial data, and spread chaos on Wall Street. It remained undetected for years, bypassing multiple security layers. Had it been activated, it could have shut down trading, manipulated stock prices, and destroyed investor confidence. In a hyper-connected financial system, even a few hours of downtime could cause billions in losses and trigger a global recession. So, who was behind it? U.S. authorities eventually traced the attack back to a group of Russian hackers, although exact identities remain unclear. Some believe it was the work of state-powered. Some believe it was the work of state-sponsored actors, a form of cyber warfare designed to destabilize the U.S. economy without firing a single shot. The FBI and NSA got involved, working around the clock to remove the malware and beef up NASDAQ's defenses. But here's the unsettling truth. This wasn't an isolated incident. Financial institutions remain some of the most targeted organizations in the world. Every year, there are thousands of cyber attacks aimed at banks, stock exchanges, and trading platforms. But the next in line will shock you. It's one of the world's first digital weapons of war, and it's still one of the most dangerous exploits ever discovered. Let's dive into Stuxnet, the cyber attack that changed warfare forever. Back in 2010, cybersecurity experts discovered a computer worm unlike anything they'd ever seen before. It wasn't designed to steal data or crash servers. It was designed to cause physical destruction. This worm, known as Stuxnet, specifically targeted industrial control systems, the kind used in nuclear power plants and manufacturing facilities. But here's where it gets wild. It was custom built to infiltrate Iran's Natanz nuclear facility, where uranium enrichment was taking place, and it worked brilliantly by sneaking into the facility through infected USB drives. Once inside, it lay dormant, silently connecting data and waiting for the right moment to strike. When activated, it hijacked centrifuge control systems, causing machines to spin irregularly until they broke. Iranian scientists struggled for months, replacing parts and running diagnostics, but couldn't identify the issue. Meanwhile, Stuxnet kept sabotaging their progress, setting the nuclear program back by years. But here's the kicker. It was military-grade cyber weaponry, allegedly created by the United States and Israel to stop Iran from developing nuclear weapons, and it wasn't discovered until after the damage was done. The worm eventually leaked out into the wild, infecting computers worldwide. But outside of Natanz, it didn't cause any serious damage, because it was designed with one specific target in mind. This cyber attack marked the first instance of digital warfare causing physical destruction, highlighting the danger of cyber weapons. It sparked a global, silent arms race in cyber warfare, with nations developing digital arsenals. The scary part is, unlike nuclear weapons, cyber weapons don't require massive budgets or sophisticated labs. They can be created by small groups of hackers, and once they're out in the wild, they can't be called back.